Call this meeting to order. This is the Solid Waste Advisory Commission regular meeting for August 23rd, 2025. It is now 3 minutes after 4. We'll start off with roll call. Please identify if you are present. Scott Walters. Here. Mark Nelson.
Present.
Andy Arriaga. Steve Corey, present. Randy Rabin. Bethany Guajardo. Sanjay Desam. Divya Dinesh. Annie Kuhajian.
Present.
Quorum being present, we'll go ahead and check on ex officio members next. Rochelle Klein. First item on the is consideration of the draft agenda. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at that. Are there any comments on the proposed agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda as written.
Been moved and seconded that the draft agenda be approved as written. Are there further comments? Or motions? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote. All those in favor of approving the agenda as drafted signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed say no. The motion passes. We'll move on to the draft minutes for the March 26th meeting. Are there any comments on the draft minutes?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the draft minutes for the March 26th meeting as written. Are there further comments or motions? Further comments or motions? Sensing the committee is ready for a vote. All those in favor of approving the draft minutes for the March 26th meeting as written signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say
Aye.
no. Motion passes. With that, we will move on to staff program reports. The first item under staff program reports is the tonnage report for January to March of 2025. Peter, go ahead and take over.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission. We will be discussing our first quarter of the calendar year, January through March numbers. The first couple of charts that you'll see are our curbside tonnage for recycle on the left and trash on the right. What you'll see with both of these, and in fact with most of the graphs we'll show you, are that we're having kind of we're dipping back into the norm for our tonnage. October through December and a little bit into January, we have those high diversion programs like Recycle the Fall. And so now you'll see the recycling dipping back down, as well as the trash tonnage. Looking back at the last few years, this is pretty typical of what we'll see. Next slide, you will see the raw data. If our PowerPoint will cooperate with us. There we go. So here you'll just see the raw data for those 3 months. again, you'll see that dip down month after month. On the right, you'll see that table is the average pounds per household. And again, you're going to see that recycling go down once you get out of, again, those holiday months where you're seeing a lot of cardboard. If we move on to the next one, we'll see the diversion for both the commercial and residential. And again, you're going to see that spike back in October, November, December with Recycle the Fall, and dipping back into kind of the normal between 8 and 10% that we typically see throughout the year with diversion. Next, you'll see the composition of the solid waste that we've collected over these 3 months. Bulk of that is going to be residential and commercial trash. We do see our commercial and residential diversion that we get from our recycling pickups. And you'll definitely notice this is not the quarter for green waste or organics. We have very, very little of that in our composition. Final slide. Again, sorry, we're having some problems with our PowerPoint, but it's going to be HHW. We saw pretty typical numbers in January and February, about 13.2 tons and 11.8 tons. We actually saw a pretty high amount of tonnage, 23.9 tons in March. We did have an extra collection day that month. Typically there's 4, but just because of how the calendar fell, we did have 5 Mondays in March. And so that might attribute a little bit to that spike in HHW tonnage. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
Commissioners, any questions or comments on the information that's been presented? Thank you, Peter. We'll go ahead and move on to the next program report. This is an update on the commissioner ordinance. Bill, I guess you're gonna.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. So a few months ago, Emily Kane from our team came and presented. The mayor had made a request of our office to go through all of the city code and make some updates and changes. And this was the commission section was one that we did recently. We redid all of the commissions, again, creating some uniformity, some consistency among all the commissions and committees in the city, both on naming, makeup, composition, looked at some of the specifics for varieties of commissions on the requirements for membership. Some require city residents, some don't. And so specifically for this commission, the general things, most of it really doesn't change how this commission has conducted business over the years. Again, all of our city commissions are advisory, so they are here to give advice to the city council, recommendations to the city council of different things, whether it's spending on art projects, whether it's spending on projects or educational opportunities, or whether it's regarding rates and other things. Again, all of the language in the ordinance, and the ordinance did go into effect. It was approved a couple of weeks ago, so it is now in effect in the city. Again, doesn't change anything as to what the general charge and responsibility of all commissions are. We did want to make clear, and it's clearer now in code than it was previously, although again, I don't think this affects this commission, but all spending and all spending authority is really vested in the city and not the commissions, because there have been other cities, communities around where it was very unclear as to the authority of the commissions and what they could or couldn't contract with, what they could or couldn't encumber the city to pay for different things. We wanted to make it clear, even though again, it was never an issue for our commission or even our other commissions of that being a problem. We wanted to just make it clear that again, all spending authority is in the city. All spending is approved through the departments. If it has to be a recommendation to the city council, then it goes to the council for their direction and their approval before it gets done. But the processing and the payment and the agreements, any contracts, again, commissions can't sign contracts on behalf of the city. Commissioners can't basically receive information, give advice, give recommendations to council moving forward. But none of the commissions, SWAC, Historic Preservation, Arts, none of them have authority to contract independently of the city or bind the city to any type of contract. Specifically for the Solid Waste Commission, it is in Titles 2, or Chapter 2's Title 1, Chapter 3. Basically, the duties and powers, again, I don't think have changed. Ordinances, the commission is there to make recommendations to the mayor and council and city staff regarding ordinances, policies, fees related to solid waste collection and disposal, programs and projects that promote and improve residential and commercial solid waste management practices that help divert waste from the landfill, solid waste initiatives and concerns brought forth by citizens, management and disbursement of funds in the Community Recycling Fund Program. Again, it's been a few years, but that's been a common function of this commission over the years. Matters relevant to the commission's purpose and provisions of the city's comp plan or other planning processes. Those are things that sometimes are going to come through the planning department. Maybe there are things that are going to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission ultimately, or the city council, that this commission may weigh in on if it relates to the solid waste requirements. Development of solid waste initiatives that promote clean, safe, cost-effective solid waste management within the city. So all the members of the Solid Waste Commission do need to be residents of the city, and they shall have a demonstrated interest, competence, or knowledge of solid waste management. So it no longer is specifically required. In the past, it was required that we had at least one person who had to have some level of experience or interest in this particular area. I'm sure the chair and Commissioner Walters recalls when we had Dave Neal was a member of this commission for a number of years. Again, he was the retired manager of the Ada County landfill. We don't require that as a specific requirement of a member, but that's what we're always interested in. Obviously, people that have an interest in this subject matter area is what's going to be of interest to the mayor's office in looking to appoint a future commissioner. But overall, like I said, I think from a practical standpoint, but from a functionality standpoint, I don't think it's really that different from what this commission has previously operated historically, what the role this commission has played in being engaged in regards to programming and programs such as Recycle a Bicycle and some of the others over the years, the hand-in-hand recycling and some of the other educational opportunities with the Public Works Week. This commission's always had an active role in that. So I don't think any of that's really changed. Same thing as I mentioned for a second, the arts projects and the recycling funds that we have and the art projects we've been involved with for this commission in the past. Again, that hasn't changed. That's certainly still a function of this commission to have a role in and to have an advice and an opportunity to provide some feedback to the city council in that area. So again, that hasn't changed. Any other questions, Mr. Chair?
Members of the commission, any questions or comments in regards to the information that's been presented?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
No question.
Bill, I think you probably don't have at your fingertips. Well, first off, I should say, I assume it went into effect on approval.
Yes, after it was published, and I did verify with the clerk's office, it has been published. So yes, it is effective now.
Okay. But you probably don't have on your fingertips the night that it was approved.
No, it wasn't. I don't know specifically. I think it certainly wasn't last night. I think it was 2 weeks ago. So it would have been a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll go ahead and move on into old business. The item under old business is Recycle a Bicycle. Commissioner Nelson, do you want to go ahead and give any kind of bit of information for us since the Get Outside and Unplugged event is coming up soon?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So May 10th is our game day, so to speak, for sharing bikes at Kleiner Park. And we've got a pretty good collection of bikes now. And Sayard and Rochelle have been scrubbing the list of bikes, and Sayard did an awesome job of getting us all prepared and organized based on the number of bikes that are requests we've had for bikes already through the website. I think 76 was the last number of people that have requested bikes. 52 of those are Meridian residents. And so we'll kind of prioritize Meridian residents or bikes we need to fix in preparation for the May 10th event. But we'll start having some of the staff at Republic Services are available for people to come pick up bikes at the transfer station over the next few weeks. And we won't be able to give them all away prior to the event because we'll need, of course, some to take to the park. But it might be several weeks or over time before we get through all of those requests. And so Rochelle and Sarah are working through a lot of that process for us. Also, we have an inventory of that Sarah provided me of kind of based on our last requests for materials. That I'm out of town until May 2nd, but when I get back to town on that Friday, we have the one weekend prior to the event, and I'll kind of catch up where we're at on supplies, and we'll get some through like Home Depot and some through Meridian Cycles, and we'll make sure we have extra tubes of all varieties for helping people come to the park with bikes that need repaired. We don't really advertise it that way, but we always have folks that just think they need air in the tire, but they really need a new tube. And then, of course, Timber Creek will be there helping us fix or slime the bikes and fix tires for us. And I'll bring, and I have a trailer already available to haul the bikes. We'll load those up the Friday before or the early Saturday morning to get those over to the park. So as far as help repairing bikes, right now we have a pretty good selection of bikes that are good to go, and we're repairing more as we go with our other volunteers. I think what we really need is help on that Saturday to unload bikes, set up the tables, and then be available to meet the public and explain what our purpose is, I guess. So that's kind of my update today. I'm working with Sayard for like those parts that the week before I'll pay. We haven't ordered any or bought any tubes because we're trying to use up some of the inventory we have now from last year, and then we'll refresh it with whatever we need when we get closer to the event.
Hey, Mark, I have something to add on. I've been
Sure.
working with Divya, and she's going to go back to Mayak and get the word out with the schools and see if we can get volunteers for that day.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
Awesome.
You know, what tends to happen is we'll sit there and not have a lot of activity, and then we'll just get kind of bombarded. All of a sudden, somebody will catch on that we're gonna have most of the bikes that are gonna be there available to give away on that day, which is kind of a lessons learned from the past. And usually you'll end up with 3 or 4 or 5 kids all at once that need help sizing the bikes and making sure that the seat's at the right height or adjust the pedals work for them, that kind of thing. And so that'd be great to have any help. And then right across the walkway from us is usually the Meridian police have a bicycle rodeo. And so we kind of send kids over there, and sometimes they outnumber us pretty good. So yeah, any help would be appreciated on May 10th, and I'd rather have more than less for sure.
Do we have the hours confirmed?
Yes, it should be 10 to 2 is the official hours. So we'll get there, early enough, an hour or so in advance to get the tables laid out and start getting the bikes and spread out so that people can see them as they walk in. And the Sayard has tables and shade covers and all sorts of things kind of ready for us to be picking up the week before. And so we'll want to get all that set up. But so for help, 9 o'clock for sure, we'll start getting set up. The official event is 10 to 2. And then, of course, we'll tear everything back down. And if people only have an hour or two to spare and just participate for an hour and then go check out the rest of the what's available at the park just so they're familiar, that would be great too.
Thank you for that information.
Members of the commission, are there any comments or questions on the information that's been presented?
Mr. Chair, I just want to add some color, like a thank you to Commissioner Walters and Nelson and Commissioner Nelson. We do actually today, as of today, we've finished and tagged and contacted 31 of the 76 people, and we've already had, I think, 7 people pick up their bikes. So people are getting there pretty quickly. But we also have mixed in the middle of this, we're still giving bikes away. Like Meridian Elementary School contacted us, one of the social workers there, and they had an immediate need for a 5th grader that has to ride his bike to school. And so they came over and got one of the bikes. And then Commissioner Nelson dropped a bike off at the women's shelter, 2 bikes, a mom and a son. And that turned out to be somewhat of a blessing and a curse because a little boy named Khalil got his bike and he showed it off to all the other kids in the shelter. And now they all want bikes because one 8-year-old boy got one and could ride it with just one hand even. And so, so now we get these side orders in. And so we're busy getting bikes ready for Unplugged, but we're also still meeting the needs of the community. And I always appreciate these guys hustling bikes around town and getting them to people who really need them. So it's a worthwhile program, and I appreciate all the support from SWAC. Thanks.
Yeah, and
Thank
thanks
you.
for bringing that up,
I was gonna say
Rochelle.
thank you too to Chairman Corey for your bike, which was a very popular bike, a very nice bike. So thank you for your contribution.
Glad to hear it. Mark, you had an
Yeah,
additional?
when I was down dropping off those 2 bikes at the shelter, I noted that they had bikes out front of the building with flat tires and needed a little bit of attention. And so we might actually just do a special event and go down there and fix some of those bikes they already have. And we'll try to touch base with them. That's only a few blocks from where I work downtown and see what we can do. It's the season. It's better to get that stuff out and used than just sitting there. And just for everyone's, information, one of the biggest issues we have with giving these bikes away is many of the folks that take them don't have tools and don't have bike pumps, and often that's the only thing stopping some of these things being used by those that have them already. So that's why we really encourage folks to get that stuff out of their garage and into the transfer station, so we can. That's often all they need to get back to someone that needs them.
And Mr. Chair, if I can make one more call to action, if we can, anybody here has extra helmets or extra locks, locks tend to be $8 to $15. And a lot of times that's kind of a limiter for people to actually get out on their bikes. They can't ride them to school and lock them up, so if anybody has extra locks or helmets, we just spray those helmets and they're on kids' heads right away. So any helmets or locks would be really appreciated too. Thanks.
Commissioners, any further questions or comments?
No, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to say, good work by the team, commendable, and I probably will volunteer for this Saturday. So, or whenever. Thank you.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing you.
I definitely look forward to it. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout. And believe me, if you're there, you'll have an opportunity to help out. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item, which is in new business. First item is the SWAC booth at the Public Works Week, and it is March 22nd. So let's see, I believe that would be the night after our next meeting. I'm sorry, May 22nd. Get lost on. No, so our next meeting is going to be May 28th. So May 22nd will be the night of the Public Works Expo. That one's more of a just be there in attendance and be able to talk to the public when they come by. They usually have questions associated with what can be recycled and where can they recycle it. Had a chance earlier today to take a look at our trifold. A lot of the material is still current, not needing much refreshment, but the center panel on it was all associated with squishy water bottles. So we're not going to need that information this year. And that leaves us a good deal of room to go ahead and present something. I don't know if anyone wants to kind of take a quick shoot from the hip suggestion about what we may want to go ahead and present. I mean, we could just be as simple as some shots of plastic bottles, other ones of cardboard, paper, so on, just to kind of have on there to remind people of the materials that we do accept. Maybe someone's got something that they can think of that we're pressing.
Mr. Chair, maybe we could add just a reminder that the number 5 food tubs are now accepted, because that's a change. That's an update. So we can take all the number 5s, like the cottage cheese and sour cream and yogurt and things like that. Because this time last year, we couldn't accept those yet.
Provided they are contamination free.
Thank you. I see that the picture from last year has been brought up on the screen, so what you're seeing there is in the upper left panel is some of the projects that we did with Community Recycling Fund. The lower left is the path that recycled materials take from the curb down, through the recovery facility and eventually out to the mills to be recovered. And then over on the right side is all the pictures of our Recycle a Bicycle effort. We'll probably try to update those photos, but it'll be roughly the same. So like I say, at the middle panel is the squishy water bottles in this picture. And of course, you can see that we even had a variety of bottles for people to understand what a squishy water bottle was. So that gives us quite a bit of opportunity this year to change up a bit. Thank you, Sarah, for pulling that.
Mr. Chair, do you want me to answer that? Okay. And I don't know if you already knew the answer and you were just saying maybe other people, you already know the answer? Yeah, okay. Okay, that's, if you wanted me to explain anything, okay. Thank you. That's a good suggestion because we get that all the time about.
Good suggestion.
I think I made that map years ago before many of these things became.
Yeah, its purpose was to go ahead and identify where we've made upgrades to the community with the Community Recycling Fund, but I still think that's a really good suggestion to go ahead and be able to point out to our visitors where the transfer station is. Most of them probably have a vague idea, but not a specific idea. Any additional comments in regards to the Public Works Expo? I believe the start time for that is 4 o'clock.
That's correct.
We'll set up about 3:30, but yeah, if you're able to come down there and spend from 4 to 7, I believe that's the end time is 7 o'clock. Definitely be appreciated. Invite your family. It's amazingly interactive and very enthralling for our young citizens to actually be around the vehicles and be able to touch them. They're see all the various aspects of our public works department, all the things that they do for us. So,
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Nelson.
I do plan on being there. And I can be there most of the time. I might not be able to make it there right at 4, but that's, I plan on supporting the event and for whatever times needs some help.
Thank you. Like I say, I'll probably be there about 3:30 since to go ahead and do setup. Any other commissioners that can make a commitment for that evening at this time?
Yeah, I think May 22nd will work for me. I'm just looking at my calendar, so I can probably be there by 5 o'clock, 5 to 7.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'll be there wearing 2 hats.
Very good.
There, I could
Yes.
volunteer my daughter. She'll be very excited to be part of it. So.
Good. Very good. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item, and that is the MRF tour during the May meeting. And I think what we came back with then is kind of in lieu of meeting here. Well, first off, should I bring Gina up here to go ahead and talk about it, or?
Good evening. Yeah, we definitely would welcome the panel to come and tour the MRF facility on the next meeting. Probably have a time. I think we talked about a certain time before. Yeah, we could definitely meet there.
Perfect.
Gia, what time does the line close down? Is it 4:30?
Yes.
So we would want to be there ready to go right at 4 because they start closing down the facility at 4:30. The line stops. So
Yeah,
you,
this-
really the amazing part is seeing it working. So that would be like the first part of the tour would be seeing all the equipment moving around and sorting things out. So if we start right at 4, that would be ideal.
Yeah, and we can make it till 5 if we need
Oh.
to. Yeah. I'll make that call.
We also have a new operations manager there, which you guys will meet. So he just is onboarding now from Las Vegas, from our MRF down in Las Vegas, and he's wonderful. So she has been working with them, getting him ready to take over here in Idaho.
He's here. So you'll get to meet him.
So I think that was probably the intention is we would meet there at 4. So, and I don't know if all the commissioners know where that facility is, but I guess, so when the draft agenda will come out, it'll identify that the meeting will be over there, and that'll be the only subject during that time will be the tour.
And we'll include very specific directions on where we should meet because there are several buildings and it's big. And so we'll give very specific directions on how to find like the viewing deck or the learning area. So,
Which will be upstairs.
yeah.
We'll have the address as well.
And
Mr. Chair.
yes,
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, and again, it's your preference, but because we have to notice it specifically for this location anyway, if you want to schedule your meeting at a different time, like at 3:30 instead of 4, again, I don't know what everyone's schedule is to get there, but I mean, if you want that flexibility, we're going to notice it separately anyway, so you're certainly welcome to do that.
members of the commission, would you be wanting to and to have a little bit more time with the facility operating and therefore meeting a little before 4?
Okay, we can make it till 3:30, at 3:30.
So Bill, I'm thinking we probably need to go ahead and vote that the meeting time will be at
Yes.
at 3:30?
Yes.
Okay. So the chair would entertain a motion that the May 28th meeting will start at 3:30.
Second.
And moved and seconded that the regular meeting for May 28th start at 3:30 at the the recycling facility on Cole Road. Are there any comments on the motion? Comments? Thank you, Gina. Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of having the regular meeting for May 28th, starting at 3:30, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say no. Well, thank you for accommodating on that, us on that, because I think it will be nice to have that little bit of cushion to make sure we can understand the operating facility. Let's see, we need to be, let's see, anything you want to say about clothing and attire that we need to be prepared for?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have protective eyewear, hard hats, and high-vis vests, but you'll want to wear long pants and closed-toed shoes when you come on the tour. Anything else you want to add? Everything else. We'll have all the safety PPE. Yep. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you. It's been a while since we've conducted a field trip, so I think I've covered everything, but if anyone's got anything that they remember that I've missed, please chime in. Very good. Well, thank you. That'll be very appreciated. And with that, we've completed the business portion of the agenda, and we'll move on to stakeholder updates. Republic Services, do you have anything you want to present to us?
Not at this time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
For Timber Creek? I'll certainly thank you in advance to both Republic Services and Timber Creek for their presence at that event. It wouldn't happen without the two of you, so. That completes all the business that's on the agenda. Unless there's anything else that needs to be brought before us at this time. Very good, then we'll go ahead and, like I say, the next meeting will be Wednesday, May 28th, but it will be a field trip, and we'll meet over at the recycling facility at 3:30. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. It's 4:44, and thank you for what you do for the city.